Hello, everybody. How are you? Y'all, just a great day to be with you. Y'all, for those of you that don't know who I am Deborah Franklin. I am the author, speaker, coach, but most of all, I work with high achieving Christian entrepreneurs to help them to increase their VIP status by telling their stories. And when I say VIP, that's your visibility, your influence, and your profits. Well, guys, welcome to Motivational Monday. So, guys, I was looking at some things, and I was talking to some of my teammates, and I was talking to some people on the board. And we were discussing some things, and I was like, y'all, for really, oh, hello from Jamaica. Hello. Um, and Okay, guys, y'all let me know who you are because these are some great comments already. Yes, make it make sense. I see Nashville in the house. I see Jamaica in the house. Y'all let me know where you're chiming in from, where you're joining us from, and so I can see because some of you are only coming up as Facebook users. Hey, Amy, happy Monday. So, guys, I was talking to some of the board members this weekend, and we were talking about we're getting ready for missions. We're trying to get everything together. We're packing. We're weighing. Yes, y'all, we weighing suitcases already, and so we were talking, and then we were just saying how when God gives you the vision, you're like, oh my God, how am I going to do this? How am I going to? Hey, Brenda Lee from Jamaica. Jesus. hey, Madonna. Or from what I've heard, your new name is Madonna. So, so yeah, that's an inside joke for those of you that are chiming in. But so we were talking about getting ready for missions. We were talking about getting the book tour together because yes, y'all, the board members and some other people have joined together, and we're going to be launching a book tour. And so we were saying that a lot of things that we're doing just doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense. You're like, God, you told me to do this. God, you said for me to show up. God, you said for me to start this business. You gave me the parameters of the business. You gave me this blueprint. But then now the process of executing this blueprint doesn't make sense. And so when you're like, God, you said that I'm supposed to be a speaker, I'm supposed to be an author, I'm supposed to be a coach, I'm supposed to do this, I'm supposed to do that. And some of you, and I know that I got some church girl CEOs on the line, you know what God has showed you to do. And it's like, hey, I don't know who you are, but hey, thank you, Cherie. Yes, awesome. Yes, missions and book tour. and yes, um, and yes, God said it, but yes, that's the main thing. God said it, but and it's like I'm like, oh my God, you keep telling I'm going through this process. It's stressing me out. It's like where the money coming from, where the clients coming from, where's the equipment coming from? Can I just be real? Where the paper and the ink coming from the printer? Because sometimes you do have to print it out. How am I supposed to do this? God, can you just make it make sense? And I was talking about, okay, y'all, now my stuff is bleeding into this. And so it's like the success is in the process and God will make a way. Absolutely. Yes, I totally agree with you. The success is in the process. And it's like when you look at that, that is so true. But a lot of times we don't trust the process because when we start going through the process, okay, y'all, let me just go ahead and give y'all a little tidbit of what I'm going to be teaching in Kenya. I was looking at Hannah and Penina, and am I saying that right? Is it Hannah and Penina? Yeah, I said that right. Hannah and Penina. He gave me, okay, I'm sorry. He gave me goals and everything, but yep, that's so true. It's it's me with it's me with but God. Yes. And it's like when I look at Hannah and Penina, it kind of messes me up to a certain degree because it's like we always talk about how bad Penina is, because she teased Hannah. She was like, I got another baby. What you got? I got a son. What you got? Because Hannah's womb at this time was barren. She was going through the process. Both of them going through the process. And y'all, you don't have to be deep. You got to go through the process to know that you ain't getting pregnant. Let's be real. So she's going through the process. She's doing what she's supposed to do. Her husband loves her. She loves her husband. All of the things are there, but it's like I keep going through this process, but I'm not producing. Guys, I want to encourage you to go through to embrace the process, because even though Hannah prayed, even though Hannah knew that she was chosen, sometimes you are being envious of the people that are in your circle, because you think by what you see, because sometimes it's that avatar that people present. Sometimes you only seeing, when they spreading the money, that ain't even their money, y'all. It might be fake money. It could be airbrushed, or they are leaning on a car talking about you too could be driving this, but they not driving it. They really, they really rented it just for the photo op. I'm just being real. I'm look, let's take the blinders off. Let's take it off. But when we look at Hannah and Penina, they both were going through this process. Hannah was probably feeling jealous. Hannah was probably feeling some kind of way that she had not had a child. And you may be feeling that same kind of way. You're feeling that way because you haven't had the $10,000 week. You don't have the multiple clients. You're not able to produce the things that get the traction at the drop of a dime. You started a group, but you only got 10 people, or now you got 1,000 people and only 5 people are active. You started a project and you going to everybody for help, but nobody wants to help you. They want to leech off of you. They want you to give them the information, but when you send that invoice, they don't want to pay it. So this is what I'm telling you: trust the process, because this process is necessary for you, number one, to learn what you don't want to do again. This is your process to learn that if I send out an invoice, give a deadline, if they don't pay it, cancel it immediately, because then when they come back to redo that invoice, then the price goes up. I'm just saying, just trying to give you a little tips, but I want to motivate you. And that was for somebody that's in business, because I'm actually streaming this on multiple platforms tonight. But y'all, we got to start thinking that when God sends us through these certain streets, these certain narrow paths, that we like, oh my God, how am I supposed to get through this? How am I supposed to go to this next level when I don't have the support? Or can I be transparent? Let me be transparent with you. I have been trying to send an email to someone that I know that could take care of everything that I need. But God, every time I sit down to do the email, I forget. Something else pops up, something else happens. And then I had to just really sit back and think, God, am I supposed to send this email? And I was sharing this with somebody this morning, and this is what they stated. And I was like, almost fell out. That particular, keep trusting the process, because this particular person, God has placed on your heart, but not for this season, but it might be for the next season. For when you really need when you need that support for real, because that's when you're going to really need to gravitate to that. You got to keep going through, because sometimes you got to show up enough, learn enough, that when you do have that big meeting, you're going to be able to have all of your receipts. You're going to be able to have all the information. When they ask you, have you tried this? Did you do this? Do you have that? Because see, sometimes you can't reach out to some people because you don't have all your ducks in a row. And when you don't have all your ducks in a row, you saving yourself from being embarrassed. You saving yourself from being set up to mess up for when you really need something. Because that's what you got to start thinking about when you you that's funny, Madonna. You have to start thinking about, I be still and wait, Psalms 46:10. Absolutely, absolutely. Because everybody is not going to support you in what you're doing until you got all those boxes on that list checked. Now, but see, the crazy part about that checklist is that you still got to go to the process. Okay, so let me just back it up. Y'all know we going on missions. I'm gonna tell the story, and some of y'all probably heard the story before. I had a checklist. Yes, we was doing missions. Yes, we did the mission, but the first time I messed it up because I was like, "Oh, I can do this by myself. I can book a plane ticket. I can read everything." Guess what happened? And we talked about this weekend too. I got deported. Mission still happened, but because I didn't follow that process, God said, "This is not how we're gonna do this. You're not gonna be, I'm not gonna let you be embarrassed because you got people to give money, you got people to sow into what you were doing, and you've already talked to these people at this school. So you're not gonna be embarrassed because we had a church girl CEO on the ground. So she was able, God made it open the door to where she was able to come to me in what I like to call airport jail and get everything, and we were still able to do our mission project. That's mission trip number one. I learned then I need a travel agent to make sure they got all my things in process and all things in a row. Second trip, had the travel agent, but I didn't have the right conversations with the people that were traveling with me before we went. So there were some things that happened that if I had the right conversation before I went, then maybe that thing that happened would not have happened. We would not have challenges in going back in front of the same people. Lesson number two. You see where we're going with the same process. I never said that I didn't go. Never said that missions didn't happen. So now when I have meetings dealing with missions, I know what to talk about. I know how to talk about. So this trip, we got some other notes that we've taken that we need to fix. So when we fix that, now we're trusting the process. It's not, God is not telling you not to keep doing and not to keep moving, not to keep serving. But what he's saying is learn through that process. Learn what to do, learn how to do it, and learn when to do it, and learn who to do it with. Start building those relationships as you're going through the process. My assistant who's helping us. I mean, when I tell you my assistant is killing it, helping us with these mission projects, helping us make sure that we got everything on the ground right. Today, something happened, and she was like, "Oh my God, I didn't want to let y'all down." And you know what I told her? Girl, you better straighten up your whole voice because we are on this learning curve together. We are in this together. And see, this is the other piece. Y'all stop blaming people when something messes up. Stop charging at them when they mess up, especially when you're all in this learning curve. You gave them a chore, a task to do, but can you do it? Would you know how to do it any better? And if you did, you should have did it anyway. But in this process, as we're going through the process, God is also looking at us, how we treat the people that are in the process with us. How are we standing up and being recognized with those people when we are operating in the process? Because when you're in the process, you can't be nasty, you can't be ugly, you can't have certain things to happen and you don't recognize it, and then you got to do what you have to do. You have got to trust the process. And yes, please don't jump God's timeline. You will fail every time. And sometimes, even on God's timeline, we're still operating in the process because that's part of the timeline. You got to realize that God lets us go through things so you can have, let me tell y'all something. Anytime you're doing something for God, he's going to make you go through that process so you can have a but God. This is your vet. Have you done all to stand? Absolutely. You have got to be able to weather the storm because a true tree that is rooted is by the roots and how deep that it goes. We can't go out in this mission field. We can't go out and talk about we started in a business. We can't go out and say that we getting ready to do this, that, and the third, and we still operating in shallow water. I'm gonna let that sit right there. Because when you operate in shallow water, you don't know what's gonna happen when you can't breathe. When you looking at your bank account and your bank account, and you know you're supposed to leave in a week, and your bank account say, "For real?" You got to know how to operate during the process. Yes, mission accomplished. Yes. There is protection in the pivot. My God, yes. Y'all know I've been talking about the pivot for the past 2 or 3 years. Trust the pivot. The pivot doesn't mean that the destination or where you're going is not going to happen, but you got to be willing to pivot to make some adjustments in order to make it happen. And sometimes that pivot doesn't mean no, it means not yet. It means that you need to still do some preparation. Okay, I got a big pivot for y'all. Y'all know we were supposed to have a book launch in Atlanta on the 3rd. Y'all, things were not okay. So let me just be real transparent. How about we still waiting on the book cover? We can't do a book launch without a book. So maybe God didn't want us to start it here. He didn't say that we weren't going to have it. He didn't say that the book wasn't going to go out. He didn't say that the authors didn't submit their chapters. He didn't say that we was not supposed to do something. It maybe just not was supposed to happen here first. So y'all, The book tour is going to open while we're in Kenya because one of the contributors lives in Kenya. And then the U.S. don't even make no sense. But the U.S., we launch it in Shelbyville, Tennessee. So trust the pivot. Does it make sense to us? Absolutely not. We still was laughing. Talk about this don't make no sense, but we doing it. And that's because there's like a 4-minute delay. Okay. Because that's what God is doing for us. God is showing us that we have got to trust the pivot. We have got to trust where God is taking us. We cannot judge that process. We just have to keep doing it. Just like Hannah. She kept going through the process because what she didn't realize, yes, Penina had all the children, but Penina was having the people that were going to serve her children. See, she had to birth the nation. See, right there. She had to birth the nation. She was birthing a nation. And this is why she had to go through a different process than what Penina did. See, she birthed the nation, and Penina birthed the people that were going to serve the nation. How about that? How about that? How about that? Because when you realize that what you have to say and what you have to do is for the nations and not for the you were not built to serve just anybody. You were not built to serve an average on average. You were built to serve the nations. You were built to serve people with a nation mentality. You were built to serve with people that have big vision. You were built to serve the people that will walk out on faith. You were built to serve the people that don't have a problem with walking on water. And know that if I do sink, I know how to come up. You have got to walk how God wants you to walk and be okay with doing it. As we say here, walk on. It is meant for the walking horses, but it certainly applies. Absolutely. Absolutely. We pray so God may feel absolutely. Absolutely. Our prayer life shouldn't be just for planes, cars, and material things. I challenge you today to pray and ask God to make it make sense. But as you're asking God to make it make sense, you're also asking God to open up your sphere of discernment. Open up to be more like him in what you're doing. Open up for your anointing to start to flow in a different way. Open up that you'll be able to speak life to power. Open up that you will start to see yourself in a different light. I'm not going to say that you haven't been hurt. I'm not going to say that you haven't been abused. I'm not going to say that you have not been cheated on. I'm not going to say that what you have been doing has not brought you challenges. But when you turn on that, when you open your eyes and take those cataracts off and start to see yourself as that visionary, see yourself as that builder, see yourself as that speaker to nations, see yourself as a company to nations, see yourself in the top 10 list, see yourself walking into the room and somebody saying, who is this and why is she here? How she belong? They don't even know that you are the one that created the event. I belong because you here to see me. That part. Think about it. Start to live in that realm of big expectations because it's going to be big, but you got to expect it to be big. You got to expect it to be big because when you have that spirit of expectation, God is going to just start to grant it to you. A lot of times people call it the law of intention, the law of attraction. I call it, God, you showed it to me. I call it the law of faith. I built the table. That's why I'm here. Absolutely. And you barely got an invitation to it. That part right there, see, that's what they got to go with. Expect greater. Absolutely. Because when you start to expect greater, when you start to demand greater, when you learn from the mistakes that you make, that's how God can use you in trusting this process. That's how you move to that next level. See to it that you complete the ministry you have received in the Lord. Colossians 4 and 17. Absolutely. Hashtag live. Hey, hey. Absolutely. Happy Monday. Uh Happy Monday, prosperous June. Okay, absolutely, absolutely. Not sure who is giving us these little nuggets, but let me know. So y'all, when we start to walk on this path, and you might feel like Hannah, and I think the majority of us do. We going through the process. We doing what God told us to do. We showing up when we supposed to show up. We trying new things. We learning new software. We're making ourselves available to people. We're pouring out as well as, we're pouring out and pouring out. But now it's time for you to be poured into. It's time for you to be refueled. And once you get that refueling, and then it's time for you to start praying for God to show you how you're going to reach the masses that you're supposed to meet. How are you going to do this? Because I'm going to be honest with you, you can pay for every coach in the world, but until you execute, you'll never know if you can do it until you execute. It's not going to be perfect. It's not going to be just like somebody else. Because I ain't going to lie, I got so tickled. But I'm glad God allowed me to do this. I went through a coaching program, and everybody in the room making 10 grand a week. Did you hear me say a week? And I'm just trying to make 10 grand a year. That's all I was trying to do. And they talk about, oh, I had a 10 grand week. I'm like, oh, for real? But God allowed me to be in that place, in that space with them, because now it encouraged me to know that I could do the same thing. Because when you start to be around people that are exceeding the expectations you have for yourself, then your expectations for yourself goes up. That's how that works. Yes, go through the process. Hey, Angel. Yes, refueling. I forgot to register with StreamYard. No problem. No problem. Come on, execute. Absolutely. Allow yourself to receive the blessings. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes, I can do it. Yes, yes, and yes. When you start to see yourself on that next level, then you will start to achieve that next level. Now, it's not going to make, I'm going to be honest with you. The process is never going to make sense, but you got to trust it. And know that where you are in this season, that God is getting ready to bless you in a miraculous way. God is getting ready to take you to another level, but you got to be ready to receive it. And like I said earlier, whoever is supposed to pour into you, whether it's spiritually or financially, you got to trust the process and learn from the process. Because when they get ready to pour, because see, those people are going to ask those key questions. Those people are going to, give you the did you think or why did you do? And when they give it to you, you need to be able to say, yes, yes, and yes, this is what I did. This is how I did it. This is what happened. This is where I learned. This is how I did that. Because when you walk into that room, you need to already know what your budget is. You need to already know what your plan is. You can't walk in that half cop because, see, those opportunities only come once. They may come twice, but it's best to be prepared when that first time comes. Because I promise you, I declare and decree tonight that the doors that you need open are getting ready to open because you have trusted the process. The finances that you need are going to come because you what? Trusted the process. The clients that you need are going to come because you trusted the process. And if you have not trusted the process, you starting today. Because you're not on here watching me either live or replay by happenstance. God needed to deal with you in that area because you've been running around here complaining, and you should be Surround yourself with God's people who will help catapult you to the next level, not hold you back. Absolutely. Absolutely. That's even in business, that's in church, girl, child. I don't care where it is. You got to surround yourself with the people that are going to elevate you, that are going to help you go to that next level, that don't have that jealous mentality, don't have that catty mentality. They have the mentality of I want to help and see my sister, my brother go to that next level. Because when you start doing that, then again, you start to see things increase. You start seeing things change. Yes, trust the process. Yes, elevate. Yes, because it's time. It's time. Because guess what? The sheep that need to hear your voice, because you are their prophet for what they have to do, you are their shepherd for what they are going through. The sheep that need to hear your voice are going to hear it, they're going to turn around, and they're going to come to you. And that's how you have to determine. Stop gauging yourself like Hannah was doing with Penina. Stop comparing yourself to the Peninas of the world, because you have been called to birth a nation, not to birth the not to birth the servants. I'm just trying to tell you. Well, all right, guys, I love you to life. Ain't nothing you can do about it. If y'all got any questions, comments, if you're watching the replay, make sure you drop replay at the in the comments, y'all. Tonight, it's just so much going on that it's like God is getting ready to move in a miraculous way. All you got to do is be ready. Be ready. Don't be like the man at the pool of Bethesda waiting for somebody to put you in. Child, you better jump in because the waters are trouble. Well, all right, guys, I love you to life. Ain't nothing you can do about it. Y'all have a great evening. Thank you, guys. I don't even know what to say because God, I just feel it in my spirit that God is getting ready to do something that's getting ready to blow your mind. Blow your mind, blow my mind, blow the people that's watching you, blow their mind. Because see, when God blows their mind, they're gonna be like, where they come from? What they've been doing? They don't know that it's been a process. Mm, it's been a process, and all you did was showed up for it. All right, guys, y'all have a good one. Peace.